This is Edward, and I'm broadcasting live here on justin.tv/EdwardStarcraft, and we're watching the second out of the best out of 3 in the grand finals match between these two players on the map Lost Temple. Spawning at the 9 o'clock position, we have the Terran player. We've seen him a lot of times before today on this stream. He is the one and only member of, well, not the one and only, he is the one and only Fnatic MSI KR, also known as KawaiiRice. On the bottom hand side of this map, spawning at the close aerial positions to him, is the Protoss player, and his name is RaNgeD. All of you guys in the audience, you guys are going to be up on camera really quickly. Cheer for your two favorite players. Go ahead. Okay, and let's take a look and see how this game works. RaNgeD doing some early scouting. Now, KawaiiRice, we've noticed that he doesn't like to scout as early, especially in his turn versus turn games. You see that he doesn't even scout in like his first 20 or 30 supply. But I mean, he does scout a little more in turn versus Protoss. Like to think it's actually kind of exciting. In this game, I mean, you see that we're not getting any more lag. Before, like, it seemed to plague us every single time we were opting one of KawaiiRice's game. There was always a lot of lag, but in this series, we're not getting any lag, so great for the grand finals. Yes, he has stopped lagging, and now he yes, he did lose that game. But anyways, so how this grand finals works is that whoever wins this series may not win the tournament. This is because it's a double elimination tournament. RaNgeD has already lost one set. KawaiiRice has not lost any sets so far. So if, let's say, RaNgeD wins this set, if he wins this game or the next game and takes this set, then he'll have to face again in another best out of 3 against KawaiiRice, because, you know, he needs to eliminate KawaiiRice twice. On the other hand side, if KawaiiRice wins the next 2 games of the series, he's going to be able to basically take the $290 prize. So definitely this is going to be a very important match for both of these two players. Very exciting match between these two players. It's going to be interesting to see what goes from here. Now, KawaiiRice, let's take a look at his build very quickly. He is only getting gas from one of his barracks. I mean, from one of his refineries. Looks like he may just be going for another fast expand build. At the same time, RaNgeD only with 1 barracks as well. Yeah, KawaiiRice is scouting his opponent, and he does put his second pylon over here at the left-hand corner of his base. Good for scouting any sort of drops, any sort of shenanigans that KawaiiRice can definitely push on RaNgeD to come back in the lead. We've seen KawaiiRice do some really excellent drops against Protoss and Zerg players before, but you know, there is a pylon over here, so RaNgeD, actually, it looks like RaNgeD going to proxy a Stargate, and this might actually work very well against KawaiiRice. You know, before, like in basically all of his games against Protoss players, we've seen him get a lot of Marauders and not many Marines, and if he doesn't have too many Marines, then, you know, Void Rays will kill Marauders very quickly. As long as RaNgeD can take care of the few Marines that KawaiiRice has, he has actually a very good chance of winning just with this fast Void Ray build. Looks like KawaiiRice is going to be expanding, and it looks like he's just going to be going straight into bio plus tank play, actually getting a reactor on his first barrack, so he is actually going to get Marines very quickly. I take back what I said about the Marauder. He is switching up his build, and he's getting siege mode, so definitely a different strategy versus Protoss before. Before, we've seen him work a lot with the bio ball, but this time looks like he's going to pump out siege tanks and see what he can do with that. But yeah, with KawaiiRice's expansion, and whoa there! I thought we'd see a fast Void Ray, but no, RaNgeD coming in with a Phoenix, another Phoenix on its way. And this can, I don't know, this can be pretty interesting, but you can see that Phoenixes, I mean, they can lift up workers, but they can't attack any ground targets. And already KawaiiRice getting a missile turret, he already has an engineering bay, so we won't be able to see any Phoenix harasses against this mineral line. And, you know, Marines do a very good job against Phoenixes, but I don't know if this is the right choice for RaNgeD. He is getting an expansion of his own. He started an expansion, and I mean, I'm interested in seeing if RaNgeD can make some magic happen with his Phoenixes. Make something work. But yeah, KawaiiRice expanding right now, and he does already have a missile turret at his expansion, so those Phoenixes are going to have a very tough time doing any sort of harassment against these workers, especially with some Marines that KawaiiRice has. He's actually building up a good amount of minerals. I'm curious to see what he's going to do next. Is he actually just going to set up a few more barracks, or is he going to expand yet again? Sometimes we've seen him double expand, but now it looks like he's going to just build another factory. At the same time, these Phoenixes coming around here, it looks like they'll kill one of these Marines. They do a decent job against Marines if you can isolate one and pick them up, but I mean, there are just so many Marines, and you know, Phoenixes actually can't lift up too many units. They need to generate 50 energy, which is a lot of energy to be able to pick up one unit, so wasting it on Marines or Zerglings or something silly like that is not quite the best idea. But RaNgeD, he is massing a good number of Zerglings. So it looks like now RaNgeD getting a Twilight Council. I'm curious what he's going to be doing with that. Perhaps taking up into High Templar, but he also has a robotics facility, so we could also see Colossi. But I mean, with this tank build, I think actually Protoss Air will be very useful against it. I mean, really, there are two good ways to beat Terran Mech. I mean, I wouldn't say that KawaiiRice is going really Terran Mech right now, but two good ways to build Terran Mech is with a lot of Protoss Air, or again, with Dark Templars, because you know, then you force your Terran to either get a Raven, which takes a lot of time, or to also just continuously use up scans or use missile turrets, like just turret their way over to your base if they have a lot of immobile tanks. Looks like RaNgeD perhaps poised to take another expansion, yet another expansion, and really, let's take a look at the income right now. And looks like RaNgeD with a slight harvester advantage, but Terran has a special golden unit, which does provide additional income. Not going to mention it by name because it's like every single time I open up the income tab and there's a Terran, I always have to mention it, and it kind of gets boring, so I'll just talk about how I'm not mentioning it instead. That must be a lot more interesting for you guys, I'm hoping. I'm just hoping. But these Phoenixes, they've been wandering around, and you know, let me take a look at their kills. 1 kill, 0 kills, 0 kills. These Phoenixes have been, I feel like, rather useless. They've been getting a lot of scouting data for RaNgeD, but besides that, rather useless. I mean, they forced KawaiiRice to build, I think, 3 missile turrets, 4, 5, so 4 missile turrets in his base, but that's really not too many. And with this Thor would be able to do a lot of damage to these Phoenixes if they did clump up. We take a look at the army value, and you can see that both of the players are about even, both of them with a very equal supply count. Actually, oh, this is actually 99 to 89, so sorry, I'm wrong. And it looks like, oh, RaNgeD is blinking up straight into KawaiiRice's base. He is also getting a third base, but now, I mean, he just blinked up into this confrontation. He has to blink away because there's quite a bit of army from KawaiiRice. I mean, these Phoenixes can't really aid in this battle, so looks like the next tech path of choice for RaNgeD would be the Colossus. Going to be able to take down these Marines very quickly, but there are not really too many Marines for KawaiiRice. If we take a look at his army, there's a lot of these tanks, these Thors. They'll be able to take down Colossi very quickly, actually. I'm not sure if that's the best idea, but the Thors are actually even getting 250mm strike cannon, so you're going to be even more effective against these Colossi. And RaNgeD just continuing to pump out these Colossi, and yeah, Stalker blink. Take a look at the harvester count yet again. Both players exactly even, and now RaNgeD has been just poking away at KawaiiRice's base, but not able to do any damage. KawaiiRice has just been turtling up as a Terran player, and it looks like RaNgeD may be moving in for his first attack on KawaiiRice, and going in through the back with some Phoenixes. Is this going to work though? I'm not quite sure. Does he have thermal lances on his Colossus? And it looks like the answer is no. We'll have to wait another 50 seconds for this. And RaNgeD is now transferring some probes to his third base. Looks like now KawaiiRice is poised to take a third expansion. Some Hellions here from KawaiiRice. There are no light units really for RaNgeD though, so these Hellions are going to be rather useless. It's kind of funny, both players with rather interesting unit compositions against each other, and I don't know what's going on. It's kind of interesting. Looks like, where's the Hellion go? Fleet beacon coming up. Fleet beacon coming up. for RaNgeD. One of the viewers here is saying the last Protoss versus Saren that he watched, RaNgeD went carrier. Carrier would definitely be a very potent combination, but there is a battle between these two armies, and looks like now RaNgeD has to blink out of range. Yeah. RaNgeD has to blink out of range of these siege tanks once they do manage to siege up, and that is actually pretty interesting guerrilla tactics here from RaNgeD, making sure that he doesn't take too much damage and is able to do some damage to his opponent. Now it looks like KawaiiRice is going to be moving in with some more of his Hellions. Those Hellions not going to be able to do too much damage, but now this Hellion's going to be chopped up really quickly, and those Thors are going to start cannon 250 mil cannoning all of these Colossus. Just one of them actually. And this Colossus actually not going down, but these Thors take down Stalkers, and they take out these Colossus really quickly. Interesting blink from these Stalkers, and it looks like, whoa there. I didn't think that KawaiiRice would be at a disadvantage, but actually, no, it does not look like he's at a disadvantage. Both players' armies getting decimated, but KawaiiRice still with a bigger army. You know, I have to point out that that RaNgeD is getting really interesting. 4th base. I don't know why, and KawaiiRice is like, let me take the base right next to here, and once RaNgeD tries to transfer some of his probes, he'll find very interesting structure over there. Also, one of his Colossi did survive with 16 health. Both of these players are just doing weird stuff here. 2 carriers coming out for RaNgeD. Yeah, one just came out, and this is going to be very potent. There is also, is there +1 air attack? It is coming up right soon enough, and there is also Graviton Catapult for the carriers. Graviton Catapult allows these carriers to do a lot of damage on the onset. Like with the first, basically with the first strike, carriers will do like plenty of damage. And now, you know, you see KawaiiRice's army, he has a lot of Thor's tanks and also Vikings. Vikings will be able to take down carriers pretty quickly, but only if scouted. And I mean, you can see that right now there's another confrontation between RaNgeD and KawaiiRice. RaNgeD is going to try to take out some SCVs over here, or try to take out this planetary fortress. Neither of them going down really much, and you can take a look at the income tab, and now it looks like KawaiiRice discovering RaNgeD's expansion over here, and going to take out this expansion with ease. RaNgeD trying to warp in 2 Stalkers to try to defend, but that's a pretty futile effort, especially 2 Stalkers versus a Thor and 2 Marines. It's going to be a tough battle for the 2 Stalkers, and now RaNgeD just losing these units, not warping them in, and not doing too much damage with that warp in, and just losing all of those minerals. I have no idea why he tried to expand over there, but now we take a look at the income, and RaNgeD does have higher income than KawaiiRice, and now he is like, hey, why don't I take a more sensible expansion? He's going to take the gold expansion over here at the same time that KawaiiRice is taking his own gold. And you know, all of this audience over here just laughing at this base. They're just, what the hell is going on? We have no idea, but more Stalkers blinking in. Looks like they may be able to pick out one of these Thors, and look, one of these Thors going down, losing no Stalkers. And RaNgeD going to be attacking a planetary fortress again with his Stalkers, or maybe not. Is he going to blink? Yes, he is going to blink and try to do some damage, but this planetary fortress is definitely very powerful, and I think it may be able to kill most of these Stalkers, especially with these SCVs over here. And now these Thors come in, and they should be able to finish off these Stalkers. RaNgeD not doing too much damage. Let's take a look at the carrier count, and it looks like 4 carriers here for RaNgeD, and RaNgeD is, I guess, continually harassing his opponent, and now KawaiiRice trying to get into RaNgeD mineral line. Is he going to be able to do much damage over here? Those 40 harvesters going down to, 70 harvesters going down to 70 harvesters, or 81 harvesters, 80 harvesters going up to 81. Yeah. You drop Hellions, and then your opponent's harvester count increases. Both of these players have quite a few harvesters, though. So, I mean, I don't think RaNgeD would have been too sad if he lost any harvesters. But now he is getting a 5th base as well. Definitely a very exciting map, but I mean, matchup. But yeah, a lot of Thors here for RaNgeD. But I mean,